Hello! This is Way of Weinstein. Wherever you may be and however you may be watching Facebook Live, YouTube, back in the financial district of New York City, here for Curb Your Enthusiasm Season 9, Episode 3, A Disturbance in the Kitchen. See, if it wasn't known, this is a review full with spoilers, and wow, looks like the spoiler if you're taping the Dodger game. Looks like former Met Justin Turner just hit a 3-run homer to win it. Dodgers are also up 2-0, and my Yankees are down 2-0 as well. But on the positive side, Curb. I actually really like this episode. I liked it. I liked the second episode, but I thought it relied on previous things that happened with Curb in the past. But I thought this thing had a lot of new, fresh ideas, which I really enjoyed. Okay, let me check on the comments. Let's see. There's one. I want to bring it. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah. Guest. Yeah. I'm open to guest. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, so it starts where you got Jeff and Larry at the restaurant where their food's being delayed. They're saying 40 minutes, and they're saying that the manager, comes out and says there's a disturbance in the kitchen, which we have no idea what the disturbance is, and we're thinking when something happens, you want to know. Although I gotta say, I've had jobs before where you've had information, you've had to be very delicate and tiptoe, so I kind of get what the manager was saying, how he really wasn't answering any questions, and even with the question about his tie, how he couldn't even answer, saying it was like a light, a bluish kind of tie, so he couldn't even answer that. And how from that, how Larry goes into the kitchen and speaks to the chef. Now, for those of you that watched The League, that was Kevin McArthur, which it was nice to see him. And how his name is Steven Ranazizi. I know I mispronounced that, but if you watch The League, you know that was Kevin McArthur. So it's nice to see him, and like how Larry brings this very grim scenario about his wife and his kids. Yeah, it is nice that the Giants are actually on. I got that on my TV, and I got the Dodgers Cubs on my iPad. This way, I'm doing it all and make sure that I'm still providing you guys with your Curb review. Giants Jags Super Bowl. Come on, that's not happening. I appreciate your spirit, but that's not happening. So, he's painting the grim scenario, but about his kids, and something happens, and he wanted to know the disturbance. I guess how he wants to know the disturbance, and it just ends into like, listen, oh, you're the parent, no, I'm the parent, you're the child, yada, 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 and he asks him to leave angrily, and then we get to where Jeff has to leave, and because something's happening with the little sister, because the big sister and little sister organization that Susie volunteered with, so they leave before they can get the food. Susie's talking about how talented her little sister is, who's underprivileged, saying how talented she is with the dancing, saying that she's even more talented than her own daughter Sam's. Like Larry's like, she wasn't that talented. Like, what the hell do you know about talent? And for that, saying how she's missing, and we see Ted and Joe, which honestly, that's probably the thing I had the problem with most in the episode, because I honestly feel that Cheryl Hines just called Larry and just asked him, can I be in this season? Because that's the only thing I really see as being forced this season, just the whole Cheryl character. No, don't get me wrong, I like Cheryl. I think Cheryl Hines is a very good actress. I just feel that it's very forced, and when the whole tea thing, I thought like that she was actually getting a cup of tea, not calling Ted tea. So it took me a minute to figure out what was going on, and then from that, so essentially they're all doing a search party to look for him, and how Larry's like, can I borrow the Tesla? Because as someone who hasn't driven a car since 2008, I don't care about cars at all. But that's I can appreciate that. That's probably cool just to borrow a Tesla and driving that. So then Larry's behind this cop, and he's beeping, and it's a car he's never dealt with, so he doesn't know the specifics of the beeping. And then the officer turns out to be Damon Wayans Jr., coach from New Girl, and obviously from the historic comedic family of the Wayans. So he beeps him and saying, "You can't beep a cop. I'm above the beep," which I feel like that's something that could be similar. I mean, getting a ticket for beeping was kind of like the episode where Larry is in a lineup for taking too many napkins when he has the chicken parm, and they only give him 2 napkins, which kind of just making up stuff, kind of like how the human law in Seinfeld, the Good Samaritan law in Seinfeld, how that was I found that actually is real in certain places, but you get what I'm saying with the chicken parm, with the 2 napkins, and with the beeping. So for that, he gets the ticket for $275, which, granted, Larry David, his money is not an object to him, but still, he's a curmudgeon, so he complains about everything. And then how he's playing cards with Leon, everyone's canceling, they don't show up to cards, they're canceling golf with him, when he's talking about like just the food and the disturbance, like that friend who messed up from last week's episode is still there. I don't get why he's still there. And then he said there's only one person I could see. I had no idea who he was going to see. And he goes to see Salman Rushdie, and that was great. And this is where I feel like the episode really went up, is where Salman Rushdie really changes his whole outlook on life, and then rips off the disguise, say, "Let's go to lunch," and that was so great, saying that he's a bad boy, women will be attracted to him, tells him about fatwa sex, and there's fatwa sex, like, I really enjoyed that part. And then they go to lunch, they see all the people staring at him, looking like, wow. And then Elizabeth Banks sends him a drink, which I love Elizabeth Banks. She's fantastic. I really like her as an actress. 40-Year-Old Virgin. She was great in everything she's been in. Scrubs as JD's baby mama. 30 Rock as Alec Baldwin's baby mama. Pitch Perfect. Wet Hot American Summer. Hunger Games. She's fantastic. And for those of you that don't know, she converted to Judaism. So that's another reason me being probably a little biased towards her, just because she's fantastic. And I really, really wanted her to be Larry David's girlfriend throughout this season. I thought that would have been great. She just has great comedic timing. She's just great in whatever she is. So I'll get off essentially just praising Elizabeth Banks, who's just phenomenal, was a great addition to this episode. I saw it on her Instagram that she was going to be on Curb tonight. I had no idea what capacity. I'm really satisfied in the capacity. I'm just really upset that it looks like it was just a 1-episode arc for her. But so essentially back to the whole storyline of Elizabeth Banks. So essentially, like, they go for, okay, no, I don't know why Facebook's saying you want to bring them on as a guest. When I say guest, I mean next to me, like how I've had David Feld as a guest, Tyler as a guest. Facebook, you can stop with the prompting. Yeah. So then he's in court, and now, Larry, know where you are. You're a black cop, a black judge, and you're comparing yourself to Harriet Tubman and Martin Luther King, Barack Obama, and just other black historic figures. Come on, Larry. I mean, it was funny, but you're not going down the right path. That's like LeVar Ball says, stay in your lane. So for that, I mean, obviously you knew Larry was gonna lose, talking about the donkey, saying I didn't do this for you, yada yada yada. He gets the ticket, and then he goes over to tell Jeff and Susie how the whole thing's changed his outlook, how he went out with Elizabeth Banks. Susie thinks he's full of shit, and then we see that Ted, with the beep, gets in trouble. Looks like the guy was about to pop his neck off. He says, Becker, cheers. And Larry essentially goes to a place to show off Elizabeth Banks to Susie, and how Larry early in the episode was saying to Cheryl, he never called me Elvid or a nickname or L. They had the nicknames of Lizzie and Elvin, and Susie's like, what the fuck is that? I mean, typical Susie manner, which is great. And I thought Elizabeth Banks was great, comparing her cat, Mr. Noodles, to the little sister, saying how she had it for 17 years, rested on her bosom, was a stray, and how they're talking about all the different things, and she's getting into it with Susie. And then we see that when the little sister comes back, she's the one who took Larry's Dr. Strangelove glasses. She was going to push her aside to get the glasses, which that was great. And then they see Jeff's Cubs hat, and now Gren, you knew something that was going to happen. I didn't see whose car that was. I just saw how the rake went into that. And how this is to get Elizabeth Banks more on the Bad Boys or Anything You Won't Do. And I really, really enjoyed that. They get away. They go to the restaurant. And again, this manager who literally doesn't answer any questions and dances around every single question, goes and dances around the cops' questions. Larry and Elizabeth Banks are going over the story, saying be specific as possible, saying there's an Asian Girl Scout, and how Curb is a show that doesn't have a script, it's more of an outline. I'm guessing that Larry was telling Elizabeth Banks, hey, do the worst job of acting you've ever done when you're talking to Marlon Wayans Jr., the cop, about the story, which is essentially, you could tell that she was doing that on purpose, which I enjoyed. And Larry's coming, and Larry goes with the cop, and they're screaming at each other, which essentially ends their relationship. And then the manager goes out there and says there's been a disturbance in the kitchen. So overall, really like the episode. Again, I wouldn't say I put it in a top 10 Curb episode, but then again, Curb is my second all-time favorite show in the history of television. So I hold Curb to an extremely high standard. I'm very satisfied with this episode. I'm very curious to see next episode, which essentially is the funeral, where we see in the previews how Larry's telling the woman to shut up who's crying, and Larry tells Richard about the outfit he's wearing with all with all the buttons. I thought it looked like kind of Michael Jackson-ish, but yeah, I'm overall happy Larry David's back, and Larry is hosting SNL on November 4th with musical guest Miley Cyrus. That's going to be unbelievable. I'm really, really excited for that. But overall, really excited. I can't wait for next week's episode. That is all. See you guys soon. Bye.